Yo, bartender.
Bar's closed.
Hey, yo, bartender, what's good, man? Let me get a drink, man. Let me get a shot.
Hey, man, I know you just put up to the bar, but we closed.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you mean to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man, I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty, half my age, at the crib, and I'm trying to get to it. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's alright. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna get you one drink, cause it look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink, cause I really yeah.
Hey, man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
One of the things we're brought to you by is Talking Trash. Believe it or not, this is a garbage company that's going to be fairly new to an ATL. So again, I want y'all to be able to find out. I met the owner, and one of the things I can tell you, I'm priming him. I'm trying to make sure he understands exactly what goes on, because again, I love entrepreneurship. I love somebody that's want to enter something fairly new, because again, they want to make a good life for themselves. And it's one of the things I can tell you, I promote Talking Trash. Not because of Bar Talk with Jay, just because he's trying to do great things. Talking Trash, coming soon to you. All right, now I got to get back to this person been rocking me forever in the day. It's going to go on 7 years, come September 17th. Craftmatic, how you doing tonight, big baby?
Doing fabulous, Jay.
Man, how's that mind craft?
Getting it in, man.
How's that mind craft? You know, you do multiple things. How's that going?
It is consuming my life, man.
It is.
Yeah, it's everything. It's what I do.
Can I ask you a question? Don't it make you feel good to have passion behind purpose?
Absolutely.
I don't know what else to tell y'all. But again, great things come when you see where you want to be. And the only thing I can say is no matter how hard you work, it don't seem like you have to work hard enough, because you're working for a purpose.
Absolutely.
So again, man, blessings to you and your career into your new show.
Thank you, man. Thank you. How you doing tonight, Smooth Jay?
Let me tell you, man, it's been a challenge, but one of the things I can tell you, forget the challenge and understand the mission. I promise you, man, no matter what goes on in life, in the world, I am happy. I'm learning to be more happy because I'm starting to let go of some of the stresses and some of the things that I kept holding on to.
Yeah.
Man, even after going through your class, I still have to reboot. You just hold on to this stuff for no good reason. It was like I told you, closet and all the rest of it. You hold on with the thought that it can come back and this, that, and the other, but you forget the new.
Yeah.
Man, how much more stuff is coming? How many more things is going to be? Because you're stuck in a place where you don't need to be comfortable. I like to tell you, most things come from being uncomfortable than being comfortable, because you're not going to see all the stuff for you. But again, it's up to you and what you pray. I pray for understanding, and my understanding let me know we're being comfortable.
There you go. There you go. A great way to introduce our show. This is Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay.
In the building.
And we are here to liberate your minds and souls with a fabulous dialogue.
Yes.
I think tonight's dialogue is probably one of the best dialogues in terms of self-development and self-improvement that we have ever had in the history of Our Talk with Jay. Tonight we're talking about being an entrepreneur versus a 9-to-5.
Ooh.
Entrepreneur versus 9-to-5.
Ooh.
And I think everybody should identify with this conversation, because our world has put us all in a position to become entrepreneurs.
Correct.
But yet many of us are still seeking 9-to-5s. So let's get some clarity on the subject. We want you to grow, we want you to learn, we want you to understand
Yes.
how our stories and opinions and the stuff that we talk about impacts you. I want you to make some very, very powerful decisions. I want you to get super clear, crystal clear, while you're listening to this show as to what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. And when the situation hits you, you're already going to have some bricks in your armor.
I got you.
And so hold on, and let's just have a great time here tonight on Bar Talk with Jay, shall we?
My goodness.
Now, we always start the show off with a prayer.
You got to hit them, bro, because I need to hear this one.
Yes, and I need to do this one. Let's get it in. Heavenly Father,
Yes.
we just thank you right now for being our God. We thank you, Lord, for just life everlasting. And sometimes we're moving through life, Lord, and we don't know what we're moving for. Sometimes we're going left and we don't know why we're going left. Sometimes we sit around lounging and lollygagging and we don't really know what to do. We ask, Father, that you would strengthen the why in the spirit of us tonight. Give us a profound and definite direction for the purpose of our life and for the reason that we were born here tonight. There are many of us who are born to be leaders and who are born to be business owners. Nurture those folks in the strength to be business owners tonight. But there are some of us who are not born to be business owners. There's some of us who are born to work and to be followers because that's where our gifts and our strengths lie. Let us be okay in that space if that's who we are. But I'm asking for intelligence and right direction and purpose and wisdom tonight on this subject. Do we work for someone else or do we work for ourselves? Give us the inspiration to do what is in our spirit and what has been in our spirit since the beginning of our life. Show us this purpose and this passion. Be with us in this show. Give us grace and intelligence and peace and understanding. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Man, I wanted to go so many more directions on that. I had to pull myself back several times, right? Because I wanted to go down the direction of praying for, Lord, just put the spirit of productivity in my life.
Yes.
I don't care what it is that I'm doing. Put the spirit of productivity, put the spirit of value in my life. Put the spirit of creativeness in my life. Put the spirit of make a difference in my life. Put the spirit of create an empire, build a wall, do something major, do something that would better the world. I wanted to pray about those things because in our purpose, in our vision, which we're going to talk about a little bit tonight, that we should all be covering all of those areas. Something that fills our sense of passion and purpose in life, and at the same time it does something good for the world, and at the same time it may produce value enough to be revenue stream for your family, and at the same time that revenue stream could provide an easy retirement, and maybe it might provide fringe benefits like trips and bigger homes, and all of those things, all of these tangible things in life is based upon this why spirit, this getting things done spirit. And so everything relies on me understanding this get productive spirit, right? And so I'm asking that we not pay attention to what we necessarily think and we necessarily believe. We're going to have a discussion here tonight. But when it comes to purpose, we really need to be operating from God's will. You see? Because we may have gifts to do lots of things that we're really not supposed to do. Our gifts were not our just think about women, and I think about this all the time. My grandmother's cake baking skills was not designed to be enterprised. It was for the love of family. It was a very special thing that she could do to nurture her co-workers and her friends and her neighbors and her sons and her daughters, right? And so now we have to understand that just because you have a gift don't mean that it is your purpose, and don't mean that it was supposed to provide you an income. There may be many things to do with that gift, right? And so we need some understanding on that, and the only way to get to that is to ask God. Ask God. We have to ask the higher being. We have to ask the presence that created us from the beginning. We know that if we buy a little envelope of rose seeds, it's not going to grow anything but roses, right? Because those seeds already have the full manifestation in them. And so if the seeds somehow in the process from seed to becoming a rose begins to want to be a bush or some grass or a tree, it's never going to work. We have to understand that from the foundation, there was a seed planted in us, just like there is a oak tree inside of the acorn.
Say it.
Right? It doesn't happen just for animals and nature and trees. It happens for humans too. There's something that was put inside of us that we are absolutely, we're actually held accountable by the higher being to get this done. Because he put it in you to get it done, and he wants to use you to get it done. And if you don't get it done, I would imagine that's probably going to deflate your life in some way. If you don't do, if I was a God being, I would say, I made you out to be a strong warrior and a leader, but you always want to be a follower and lazy, that you're now taking up space. Now I have to cast you aside. Now you've become a weed. I have to pull you up and throw you in the fiery furnace. But when you produce good fruit, now I take my time and I pluck the fruit off of your tender vines, because I know you're going to produce more fruit. You see how that works?
I do.
So there is something that we all are subject to get done. If you don't know what it is, that's when you ask him, because he will tell you.
Say it.
And I'll just let it go at that. And that really, lays a lot of foundation for our conversation here tonight. The topic is entrepreneur versus 9 to 5. Now, everyone has to ask themselves the question, I know I'm good at this with the people I work for, but am I good enough at this to go and start my own business?
Wow.
Ooh. Because see, what happens is our gifts and our strengths, they sometimes will put a little pride in us. They'll put a little arrogance in us, right? And so we're working for this company and we know we the best. Well, if you're so good, you just spent 2 hours making your company $50,000. Why don't you go take that 2 hours and make yourself that $50,000? See, you might be good enough to do it under somebody else's umbrella, but you might not be good enough to do it under your own umbrella.
Yeah, you
right?
That one.
And so now we have to think about, because I've seen too many people attempting to become entrepreneurs, but they didn't understand the struggle of an entrepreneur.
Right.
It's not what you think it is. It's actually far different and far deeper than what you think it is. It's like taking care of a child or a pet.
Right? I agree with you there.
Oh, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say, in our society, school, my belief is that school teaches us to be worker bees.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we do need worker bees, but at the same time, a 9 to 5 is nothing but to sit up to kill your dream. Right. You're either going to build someone else's dream, or you're going to, and kill yours, or either you're going to take that initiative to live your dream.
Right.
And I'm going to jump in right there with Boo just said, because it's key. It's going to be key because I'm going to go all the way back to, I didn't know what was passionately in me. And I started working different jobs. And I tried to excel at most of my jobs, but some of them was just simple. When I got into the garbage industry and I started from the back of the truck and I worked my way up, I didn't even know that was a passion for me. It was just a job. But as I was doing it, I had supervisors that I did not like, and they showed a lot of foulness in how they did things. And I didn't like how they was handling situations. I just didn't. But I came in and did my job. And one clown me enough that I felt like I'm not going to keep putting up with this. So I was looking for another job. Well, the operation manager grabbed me and was like, well, what's going on? I can tell you seem different. And I told him, I ain't like some of the stuff that the supervisor was saying. I'm not a person that's going to come back and start complaining about people. But I already know y'all let him in that position. So obviously that's what y'all want. I just don't care for it. He said, well, letting you know, I let him go because some of the things that were going on. And I want you to apply. Now, it scared me because that's not what I thought I was really seeking out. I just wanted to do my job. And I was good at it.
So what he basically said was, when you complain about the boss, why don't you just go and do his job?
He actually said, you so good at what you do. And I would never want him to run you off because you're here. Half the time he wasn't.
Okay.
So he was like, you might be a good fit for it. Now, I took it through time, I talked to my brothers, and a lot of them as managers, and I took the leap of faith, and I took it. Now, what I like is they took me under their umbrella. They understood I might not have knew everything, but they love my work ethic.
Yeah.
And then they like how I communicated with others. So I was able to gravitate others to get the job done, and I made morale go up. Now, these are just the little gifts that I had. They didn't have to start teaching me how to actually be a manager,
Yeah.
how to
The
process.
technical side of the business.
So, and that part is very important too.
Absolutely.
And then y'all start bringing money to the table. So when you say, can somebody do something and then take it to them? Well, you better learn it all, because that side I did not know. And I had to be humble in learning it, because it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't want to fail. So again, don't let you keep you from being the best you, because a lot of times you do. And I had to push forward. So I learned it. I did some outside classes, and I got better at it. And then when new stuff came out, I was the first one to jump in it, because I was the first one that was scared of everything at first. So now I started jumping out there. And one of the things I'm going to tell you, I went into a meeting and we was talking over processes and numbers. And I called my brother and I told him, man, I hate to go in this meeting because my numbers was a little bit down. But I had a couple good things. He said, talk on all the things that you did good. I said, okay. I get off the phone, I go in there, and I killed it. When I tell you I killed it, I started from all our safety records and everything that I knew. I changed since I've been in that position. But I already knew some of the productivity is down, and confidence down. It's just like that in that time. But the bottom line, I still showed improvement. And I spoke them. They knew it. But they were just happy that I knew it. And I went over all the stats. And I made myself look just for what I was. My people was performing off of the things that I was trying to coach and do. When I got done, and I'm like, okay, they're going to hand it to me because I already know certain things I didn't do great. They let me out. Everybody else that came in and spoke, they probably got handed because I didn't stick around for them. I was too worried about me. I was so scared of judgmental on how they was going to look at me that I forgot about all the other things I did. My brother helped coach me to realize I did great things. It wasn't like I was just in there for handout, but I knew certain things, how to get on you.
How long ago was that, Jay?
I ain't gonna lie to you.
In terms of years.
That was about 7 years ago.
Okay. Were you ready to be an entrepreneur 7 years ago?
I would tell you.
Were you ready to leave that company and
that
start your
point in that time? No.
Okay.
But it helped get me to a point where I said yes.
Okay.
And that's why I was saying to say I got to build up. And then when I start seeing the amount of money I was bringing, the things I was doing, I got to a point where I tried to excel up and it wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
And then I gotta admit, I had an opportunity where I can go off and start my own. And that's where I'm gonna tell you something else happened to me. I started a business early on when I was with them, and they never cared for me to be doing anything other than what they wanted me to be.
If you
So,
work for me, I don't want you to start your own.
So I started, and the only reason it failed is because I couldn't put more into it.
Okay.
So I would tell you, trying to start it and holding on to a job will probably cause you a lackadaisicalness in your own ambition and dreams. Not saying don't look at your funding and the rest. Just build up enough that you can separate, because you got to put that same determination to make what you want work. And I did that the second time around, not the first. And I would tell you, I became more successful because I was able to focus more on what I need to do compared to relying on somebody else because I wasn't able to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the important things that Jay was talking about, this was good, right? That, and I'm just going to say this, I've been there and done that. You know, I've been 100% commissioned my entire career, right? And I had a salary, it was like $50,000 salary, but I needed another 20, 30, 40,000, and that came from commission. So that's really where my money came from, was the commission that I could produce. So I've always been 100% commission, so I'm always used to producing fruit. Sometimes it's a little fruit, sometimes it's quite a bit of fruit and can last you a long time. But here's the point, that if you don't know enough to do it on your own, be humble in your learning, right? If you are not ready to be an entrepreneur, just be quiet and keep learning. And in the back of your mind, you know, I hope that you would be saying, you know what? I'm gonna start my own business one day. I'm gonna start a company just like this. I could do this better than my own company. Or I could do this better than the other company who is my vendor or who does my services.
Right.
You know, they've been doing my taxes for years, but every time I go back and look at taxes, I get more money. I might be able to do my taxes better than they could.
That's how you figure it out.
Right? So long and short, in the process of learning, stay humble, right? Stay fired up about learning. Keep your mouth shut. Don't upset your environment.
Yes.
Don't try to push, pull, or tug where you don't know, right? One of the things I adopted as my personal character, my personal trait, many, many years ago, is that if I didn't know what I was talking about, I would keep my mouth completely shut.
Mhm.
But anytime you hear from me, it's on a subject that I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Otherwise, I'll sit there and just let everybody else talk. Right? Let everybody else have the conversation.
Good way to learn.
Right? Right. And then I learn. That's exactly right. So we're talking about the differences between working for somebody and being an entrepreneur. What are those differences, Jay? What are the key differences? Just cover them
I'm gonna tell
at
you.
40,000 feet.
I can tell you one of the things, and again, this is once you get to a position where you feel like you want to go ahead and make that leap and you did some of your due diligence. When I was over here, I had a false security about corporations. I said, hey, I got this, I'm going to retire, I'm going to be here, they pay me good, you know, I got things moving in the right direction. I'm the man, okay? And this is how I'm going to retire. Saddest thing is, when I look at my 401k and what was really going on, there was not going to be enough to retire.
Preach it, Jay.
All right, and I know this gonna hurt a lot of y'all feelings, and a lot of y'all gonna be looking and be like, "Yo, I work next to you," and I'm gonna tell you all day long, you did.
Listen to this.
But please understand, you didn't do the math. You did.
You did do
The
the math.
job gave you enough that if you invest in other things and you did something, you have a great possibility. But if you think your 401k and the Social Security is going to take you all the way out where you can easily retire and not do anything, I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not calculated correctly.
It's not calculated correctly.
So
I had a conversation, Jay, with a young man who I love dearly. He's a family member of mine, cousin, brother, friend, brother-in-law, whoever. So I don't get it twisted right here. But this person is a young career man, and he found himself into law enforcement.
Okay.
And he says, you know what? I'm making such good money. Man, I'm going to retire on this. I do this for 20 years, I get that retirement. I do this for 20 years, get that retirement. And then I asked him at the end of his entire dialogue, because while he was talking, I was calculating the numbers, right? I'm calculating the years and the month and the time and all the benefits. And at the end of the equation, I asked him, I said, well, what is the average retirement for a law enforcement officer? How long do law enforcement officers stay in the game? It's a high-risk business, right? I don't know that most of them are lasting 25, 30 years in order to get that check, right? They're not lasting that long. So you need to find something else to do, young man, so you can reduce your daily risk, your daily life risk, and at the same time, try to build you something that is going to produce fruit by retirement. If there was one thing I would drop, if I could just had a gift, I know Jay-Z said in this one line, he said, you know, if I could give you all of it, if I could just drop this in your head and you could just have it, the one thing that I would give you is to calculate the numbers for these efforts that you are on. These jobs are not going anywhere. If you got an hourly little job, you need 2 or 3 of them to build a retirement. And so you're not producing the kind of fruit that's going to take care of you in your latter years. That's why it's important. Work for somebody, do the 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 10 to 10, whatever you got to do in your young years so that you can develop the skill and an aptitude to go and run those businesses on your own. Right? Because this is where the world is going. The world is moving toward really pure entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Like your whole family and your whole history and all the generations are going to be based on if your family produces fruit, if you can produce an income to buy bread tomorrow, right? So we need to learn and prepare ourselves to be entrepreneurs.
And I can tell you all day long, one thing I can say, a lot of rich people don't got 401ks. They find other ways to invest their money. So again, it's not to shift anybody.
Right.
They keep saying what's coming, a collapse, this, that, the other. Let's not get all into politics right now, but let's just understand.
Yeah.
If there's something you can invest your money in, real rich people make money off of money. And my whole thing is to learn different things where you can understand that.
Make money
compared
off of
to just putting it in something that somebody taught you.
Right.
I had to deprogram myself from what I was taught. I was taught the same thing: go to school, get a job, get a wife, get a house. Okay. Now I'm finding out that even a house is only so much that it need to be. Everybody say that's the best investment. Well, being honest with you, your house is not the best investment where you live.
Right.
Okay. And everybody believes that's the best investment because that's what you was taught. And that's probably what somebody else taught you. But I'm just trying to teach you it's more to it. You can actually stay somewhere in a lower income place or a place where you could save some money, and you can have other places that's bringing you money and sources. But I'm not going to just tell you how to make money. I'm just going to tell you there's more ways than what we was taught.
Yeah.
That's where the deprogram coming from, and that's what I was saying to you, mean strongly, is I was taught to go to work, do this, house, picket fence, kids, and then at the end it's like, okay, what's next? So just work this for the rest of my life. Well, that works great for the person I'm working for. What about me? Because it's not accomplishing all the stuff that I have in me, but it is accomplishing some things. So you have to get good with what you want, what you see, for you can apply that to what you really want to do. And I promise you're going to live a better way.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, Jay, when you say get good, you said it so, I can't remember exactly the words you said, but you basically were suggesting that you got to learn this thing we call money.
Oh, yes.
See, the common denominator between the 9 to 5 and entrepreneurship is money.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, right? And either they're going to provide the product and you just add a little service into their mix and make you some money to feed your family, or you're going to create the system yourself and go make some money. But it's all about money. And I'm going to tell you, money is a funny thing because one of my greatest learning experiences about money was being in business. And it forced me to think like, wow, you know what, this is a baby. I got to hold this baby every single day. I got to feed it every single day. I got to change my baby diaper every single day. I got to get my baby's hair done. I got to, make sure my babies go to the doctor. I got to make sure my baby's covered up and there's sunshades in the window and the screen. And I got 100 things to do when you own a business. It's not just, you got the greatest cake in the world. If you bake the greatest cakes in the world, that's great, right? But now you're on a timeline in order to get enough cake mix and the cream to go with it and the milk, and you got to have eggs, and now you got to have all this every single day in order to bake those cakes, right? So now you got to create a time management system that allows you to bake the cakes. It's not just about how to bake cakes. Now you got to create a systematic approach to baking hundreds of cakes. That's a different thing. That's a completely, don't take what you do when you work down there at the bakery for granted, because they're not baking one cake. They bake dozens of cakes. And until you can duplicate numerous cakes, you're not going to be able to compete with them, right? So that helped me learn money.
Correct.
Right? That's one of the ways that I learned money, is by owning a business and, the ups and downs and failures of it. There's something I want to say right here, Jay.
What you got?
That we're all just kind of living life. And one of the things that excite us about life are things and stuff.
Correct.
Nobody fake it, right? Everybody wants the latest iPhone. Everybody wants to take the trips. Everybody wants the biggest homes. Everybody wants the nicest cars.
True that.
But things and stuff pay you no money.
Correct.
You need to understand that, folks. Young folk, please pay attention to this. Things and stuff will do nothing but drain your account. Things and stuff take away from your ability to make money.
I totally agree.
So, things and stuff, here's the way I heard one guy say it. You don't own things and stuff. Things and stuff own you. You see, when you go and get that $2,000 mortgage on that house because things are going well right now in your business, that house owns you. That house forces you
To pay it.
to pay it. And that means now the thing that was your passion, you're starting to feel bad about
Regret.
it. You're starting to regret it, right? You're starting to maybe hate it, maybe dislike it. This was the thing you loved to do, but you went out and bought a house that forced you to do it, and now you find yourself in a situation where your things and stuff own you. You don't need $1,000 car payment unless you got 3 kids in the family, unless you need a third row seat. You don't need that. But if you decide to live at that level and you have those qualities about you where you want the best out of life, you want the good things, you want the gravy and the quality things in life, then you're going to have to figure out how to manage this thing we call money.
No, I tell you this.
It doesn't. It's no. That's the only way it's going to work.
Oh, I love it.
Go ahead.
And one of the things I can tell you is I've done it. Everything that you named, my house, fully furnished, cars, and all the rest of that. Because I was taught that's what it was. That was success.
That's
That's where I thought success was.
Yeah.
And then I have it, and then I'm not fulfilled. Okay.
Right.
So when I started Bar Talk with Jay, and before that I did the J&J show, but when I got to mom, I said, let me invest in me, and let me invest in some equipment. I bought some DJ stuff that I might sell one day. But it's still worth the amount of money I bought it for. But I bought DJ equipment. You've seen all the stuff I bought. I bought stuff for no good reason. Because I had a vision and I wasn't worried about the money at the time.
Right.
Because I already bought everything else. But I said if we go somewhere, we do anything. God, I don't want us to have to go ask anybody for nothing because I pay for everything else. But why I can't get it for me? I want what I want. And there's nothing wrong with it because I got to a point where everybody else was buying fashion. Everybody else bought somebody else's stuff and made them rich. I said, let me buy into some things that's going to make me profit later.
Right.
And I promise you, most of the stuff I bought at a lower amount than what will it cost anybody now. Even though it's old, it was still costing more money than it cost me. No different than the board that I have now to some of the technology. Now, some of the technology got better, so I can't say it's worth as much, but I would say a lot of things was still worth me because you have to show that investment.
You have
so
to
if
show.
somebody come to you and be like, what do you really bring? When they see all you got is a phone and you want to be something big off of social media and you don't, it ain't saying nothing bad about it. I'm just saying it's not going to be the high quality and dollar amount. Then when you hear about these $1 million deals, that's built off of a lot of work, a lot of effort, and then they see you consistent in a lot of things that you do, and that's you invested in you. You have to be vested, not somebody to do it when I feel like doing it because I woke up and I feel a certain way. You got to do it consistently all the time. If you're not, I'm just telling you, failure is going to be in front of you. And then when you get to that failure, I don't want you to quit. I just want you to readjust. But if you don't know how to readjust, your ass won't make it.
Well, the readjustment happens for many reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the readjustment might be your spending habits.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? The readjustment might be how much time you put in the business. The readjustment might be getting some help. But if you don't readjust in your entrepreneurial effort, if you don't readjust, I would recommend you go get you a 9-to-5.
Yes. And then
you might as well go to a safe place. Because if you don't adjust in any of those areas that need adjustment, when you're in business, you're going to fail, right? It's just no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You got products sitting in the refrigerator too long and it's going bad, and every week you're throwing away piles of stuff. You're throwing away piles of money because you're bad timing. You got to fix your timing issue.
Correct.
Right? You got to fix your timing issue so your waste doesn't consume your profit. Right? And so these are common sense approaches to business. But we're finding that young entrepreneurs get in and get their head knocked up. You know what I'm saying? They get their head bust, right to the white meat because they're thinking it's so simple.
They don't look at the profit and loss.
They don't look at the profit and loss.
That's one of the managing tools that I'll tell you all day long, profit and loss. And when you keep making things where they're not, then you're not looking at it. And that's where I really say we got to learn the stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you say one of the key words, get some help. One of the things I can tell you, since I've been doing this with craft scene along, You know, we bring different people in through stages
Yeah.
since we've been here. Going on 7 years. We dynamically formed a team, and this team has changed. Me and Kraft happened. Different people came on, different people went, and we wish all of them well, because anybody came a part of this is my family. There's nothing bad to say.
Right.
Anybody that came onto my show and helped me along this way. This journey is a journey, and that's why I'm trying to tell you. In life, there's gonna be some things that branch off. One of the good things I can tell you, Kraft got his, I got mine. We a tree that just got 2 big limbs, and we trying to grow. Now, everybody can't even be that part of you, because most people have jealousy. Please understand, everybody can't work together. It's nice when you find somebody that got a vision. I knew about Kraft when he first met me, and he learned about mine. And then we complement each other along the way. It's like a best relationship when you have one with another. You have to find a way to unify and work. It doesn't mean he has to give up anything on his end and I have to, but we got to learn to work together. He has to let me know of encouraging things that I need to do, and same with him. But honesty is one of the things that we work with best. Why? Because lying ain't helping. A lot of people ride your coattail. A real person wouldn't ride your coattail. They want to see you succeed, and they're going to be honest with you on that success level of what I see for him. As I said, something I don't hear from him in a while, I'm fine, okay? Because that's like my brother. He ain't going to go missing, okay? Somebody go for him, I'm fine. You know why? Because that's how much I care for him. He will probably do the same for me. But I'm just so public, it's easy to find me. Kraft is really to itself, and I have no problem with it. But I promise you, ain't nobody ever going to come between me and him.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I got a vision for him, and he has my back over here. With that, that's the relationships that you want to have. We have bad relationships because of money. And that's the problem. Because you chasing and you forget it.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, those relationships that you have, especially in your walk of being an entrepreneur, they're going to change.
Yeah, but
and there's going to come a time where, you know, the people who you're working with or riding with or whatever, that, you know, that it's going to be a place where you have a crossroad. You got to learn how to manage that crossroad. I have had several great business partners in my day, and for some reason it just
didn't work out.
Things weren't meant to last forever, right? The point here is that when you going down the entrepreneurial route, you're going to have to be a self-starter. You're going to have to be laser focused on your goal, and you're going to have to surround yourself with like-minded people. Support is big. If you're an entrepreneur and you are home by yourself all day, every day, not talking to nobody, you're going to end up being floundering because you're not connecting with the marketplace. That's one of the challenges. You know, one of the disadvantages of being an entrepreneur is that you have the option of sitting your ass on the couch and having coffee till 10 o'clock in the morning. And then you decide to get up and get dressed, and maybe you'll have a little lunch by noon, and you still ain't done no work. But you call yourself in business, and here it is 2 o'clock. You ain't talked to nobody. You ain't created nothing. You next to the refrigerator, and you're next to the microwave and the snacks, and you're in your room, and that's a bad place to be. You cannot call yourself an entrepreneur when you are in those places and spaces. Entrepreneurs get it done. If you're not a self-starter and you don't have personal discipline, do not get out there. It's not for you, because it requires all day, every day. And let me just make that point about your dreams.
Okay.
Those of you who have dreams and big goals and, you know, lofty pursuits, it's important that you think about and do something with that every single day.
Correct.
Don't let 2 months or 6 months or 3 years or 5 years get away from that thing that you dreamed about. That means you're really not dreaming about it. If you tell me that your goal is to become the greatest guitar player in the world, I'm going to ask you, when the last time you played your guitar? Oh, it's been about 6 months. Oh, man, you are out of the game. Right? You're supposed to be playing guitar every single day. I write 2, 3, 4 speeches every single day of my life. Why? Because I've connected my speeches with my personal development. And so now some of my speeches are just prayers that I do for myself, but I do them every single day. You see what I mean? So,
That mentally get you straight.
yeah, you got to have that mental strength, man. You got to have that. But living your dream means that you need to be attentive to the actions that need to get done right away. What are they today? If you do nothing more than just take a list and write all the to-dos down, write down the to-dos for 10 years and then get started one day, right? But do something every single day. Now, the big question here between 9 to 5 and entrepreneurship, aside from money, because you cannot leave your sense of security to go step out on faith and you don't have a clue what you're doing, right? What are the other things that the difference? Well, the question becomes, do you want to spend 20, 30, maybe even 40 years of your life working for someone else without the promise of being taken care of in your latter years?
Wow. And a lot of time I don't think everybody really considers that. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's another reason that made me know I wanted to work and do things differently than when I was. Because when I didn't know about the 401k until later. And that's just a retirement session that I just thought, okay, because I had this, I got that, and I got some check marks. I got some things covered. But when I started dealing with some rich people, and I started getting funding for my business, they started teaching me differently. So I started finding out that I had a will, and then you got a living trust that you can put a lot of stuff in. And a lot of people don't know about a living trust, which then you can actually move stuff into. You can move your house and stuff into it. And again, you can even pull from your benefits for if you die early on. Okay. Now, again, your family that you lead this to will probably not get it all, because again, some of that stuff was spent, but everything happens faster because they don't have to go through probate court like a will. These are things that I'm learning that I did not know. So you have to step out there sometimes to learn more, because no one was teaching this to me when I was just in a working field. I've never known this. And then I was so trained to work that that's all I knew. And then I forgot to be an owner. Because it's not just about me doing the work. It's about making sure the work is done. It's different. It's a mindset difference that was never taught in school to me. And I really want to make sure I bring this to your attention. You have to adjust what you don't even know. You're going to get in this thinking, I can work and I can do it all. You will probably work yourself to death and not accomplish half the stuff you need to without the proper help, because we did not always know how. And some of the people that do want to see you put in. And when they see me working so hard, it was like, you can't do that from the truck. I learned that when I was in waste management. You can't do this from the truck. You can't do that. And then it makes sense to me. I can do a whole lot of things and multitasking. But what I learned is when you're managing and you really in that higher position, it's more about the numbers and understand what's the process in getting people to do.
That's exactly
right. It changes you.
And watch this.
That's what I had to do.
And watch this, Jay. In our effort to close out here, just give me 1 minute, boo.
Go for it.
That 20, 30 years working for somebody else, not sure if you're going to take care of yourself, or you can take the next 3, 5, 10 years and become rich and own your everyday and own your life forevermore.
Say it.
You just have to learn how to do what your boss is doing for yourself. And I'll close out with that. This has been Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. And we want to thank you folks for being here with us tonight. We hope this show has been liberating to your spirit. We hope you learned something. We hope you grew. You made some decisions that are going to make a difference for your future. Never forget that we do this because we love you.
Yes.
We appreciate you. And with that, folks, we are out.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.